Hey, thanks for watching today. You are receiving this because you serve at Christ Church, and we consider you to be a leader in our church. And so on the first Wednesday of every month, we are sending you a video where we just simply highlight a skill, a competency, some kind of a character quality that can help us all become better leaders as we serve. So on the first Wednesday of February, you received a video, and we highlighted this principle of lead yourself first. So today, and for the month of March, we're going to focus on this particular idea, is that the best leaders are the best followers. Well, the Greek philosopher Aristotle actually said it this way: he who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. So see if this helps better explain it. A study was done of 218 Royal Marines who had gone through an elite training program. And so the study examined whether those recruits at the end of the training would actually be seen as leaders by their peers because of their skills and their abilities, or if they would more likely be seen as leaders because they were just getting things done. And so at the end of the 32-week training, they had the recruits and the commanders actually vote on the men who showed the most leadership ability. And interestingly enough, those who actually considered themselves to be natural leaders were actually not able to convince their peers that was true. It was the recruits who were actually seen as followers who ultimately emerged as leaders. You think about this throughout the Bible. A few examples come to mind for me. Joshua actually followed Moses for 40 years before he took over the reins of leadership and led Israel into the Promised Land. Elisha, prophet in the Old Testament, he actually followed Elijah for 10 years and then succeeded him and even did more miracles than we saw Elijah do. Peter followed Jesus for 3 years and became what I would consider to be the most important leader in the very first church. And I was thinking about Peter's lasting impression from Jesus, that when Jesus was ready to head to the cross, he's ready to leave all of it in the hands of his disciples. One of the final things that Jesus did was to wash their feet. Interesting to me, because the final leadership lesson that he left them was to take a bowl of water, to take these dirty feet, take a towel, and assume the posture of servant leadership. A guy by the name of Robert Kelly wrote a book called The Power of Followership, and he shows the research to support the idea that leadership will affect an organization's success or failure by 20%. Which means, as he goes on to point out, that followers actually influence the organization's effectiveness by as much as 80%. So it would not be an overstatement to actually say that good followers matter as much or more as good leaders. So this can be true no matter where you apply it in your life, whether you apply it to a family or some kind of a group at your work. Here's a small way that this probably plays out for you as you serve on a team within our church. That you're a good team member, or we could say it, that you're a good follower when you're able to take direction from a team leader, when you're listening to them, when you're communicating with them in return, when you're understanding what they're asking you to do, when you're actually executing what they want, whether that's a system or a process, you're following their lead. You're a good team member when you respond to their communication and you're asking good questions in return. You're a good team member when you are supporting, right? When you're loyal to individual team members, when you're loyal to your team, and then when you're supporting of our church. Because good followers make good teams make for a great church. In other words, we could say that Christ Church is only as good as the teams that we play on. Think about it this way. Any week we're going to have a family come for the very first time. Never been here, maybe never even been to church before. They're going to drive on the property, and there are people who have already been taking care of things throughout the week. Someone's going to help them park. They're going to make their way in. They're going to see the building's clean because somebody's been doing that during the week. They're going to be greeted. Someone's going to walk them back to the kids area, help them check in. A teacher or a group leader is going to receive their kids at the door. They're going to have peace of mind as they make their way to the auditorium. The coffee is ready. They're handed a program. Someone helps them find a seat. The band and the tech teams have been preparing all during the week. All of that happens before someone ever sits down and hears the message that day. Which means, in addition, somebody else has been writing a message and praying that it would be helpful and hopeful and When we actually say, hey, you're going to find this in the back of the seat in front of you. Somebody's been doing that and preparing that during the week. They're going to pick up their kids. Maybe they'll come to an event like 10 after. They may take a step into a group. But you hopefully see all the parts working together as one cohesive team. Then it becomes the collective we, not the individual I, that makes all of that possible. Let me just kind of wrap it up this way. My wife had this sign made for me several months ago. It just says lead follower, if you can't read it through me right there. But while I carry the title of lead pastor at Christ Church, lead follower is the one I really want to identify. So I placed it in my office so I could be reminded of who it is that I need to be first. So that when I follow well, I know that I'm in a better position to actually lead well. So let me just encourage you this way. As you play your part on your team within our church and you do it well, you're actually showing yourself to be a good follower, and good followers make the best leaders. Aristotle might actually say it this way: I follow, therefore I lead. So thank you for taking a few minutes to listen and to engage. Thank you for serving at Christ Church. We truly are better together.